Okay, hello everyone. Good morning, all of you. So we'll start with a nice quote of Albert Einstein. So he says, "Life is like riding a bicycle. To keep your balance, you must keep moving." Right? So if you want to be in balance, you have to be moving. If you stop, you will fall down. So you have to keep moving. Just life is also like that. You have to always keep moving. You should not be taking rest. So you will be fallen back. And today is the birthday of one big scientist, John Atanasoff. Okay, many people might not have heard about him. That's what happens in history. There are many people who are very good at various fields, but many times they go unnoticed. Some great people will leave the world without getting noticed. So it is unfortunate many times. So that it is he is one of that sort of person. He was an American physicist who was belatedly credited. Okay, recently only they came to know about it in 1973. With it is 1903 he taken birth, and 1973 he was recognized with developing the first electronic digital computer. So he has developed the first electronic digital computer, and built in 1937 to 42 at Iowa State University by Atanasoff and a graduate student, Clifford Berry. It introduced the idea of binary arithmetic, regenerative memory, and logic circuits. These ideas were communicated from Atanasoff to John Mauchly. So he is another person who used them in the design of the better known ENIAC. I don't know whether you came to know about it. When you take study about generations of computers, actually ENIAC is one of the first built computer, digital computer, and patented several years later. So on 19 October 1973, a US federal judge signed his decision following a lengthy court trial, which declared the ENIAC patent is invalid and named Atanasoff the original inventor of the electronic digital computer, the Atanasoff-Berry computer, or the ABC computer, they say. Okay, so this is the way, at least finally, he got recognition, but many times that recognition may not be obtained by many people. Many times it happens even in India because we are very poor in uh, documenting things. Okay, so many inventors are there, many discoverers are there, but many times they are not recorded properly. Because of that, so many times the credit is taken by somebody else, the foreigner. Okay, that is very important actually. Documentation is very important. Okay, today we will talk about nonlinear hyperbolic solvers. And before going to that, we take the revision. And so in the last class, we have done the error analysis. And there are two types of errors we came across. One is dissipation error, another is dispersion error. So we have seen that whenever there is a first order accurate scheme, there will be second order derivative in the error term, okay, highest, largest error term. And because of that, it acts like a viscous term or diffusion term, and due to which there will be unknowingly artificial viscosity we will introduce into the system. Even if you are solving a inviscid flow, there will be viscosity introduced because of your truncation error. So because of that, the error that is introduced is called the dissipation error. Many times, the dissipation error is useful. Why? Because whenever there is a discontinuity, so what happens is it makes it a little bit diffused, and that sharp corners will be rounded off. Okay, there is advantage, that is the discontinuity will not spoil the scheme, or it will not make it unstable. That is advantage. Disadvantage is we will not get the right answer, but there will be some error introduced into that. But fortunately, the scheme works. Okay, the scheme works. That is very important. And mainly, what happens is whenever there is a shock flow. So as we have seen, actually shock should be sharp like this. but actually it becomes like this. That is, at one grid point only the shock has to come, but it gets distributed or diffused to the neighboring points. This is called as smearing of the shocks, right? That is called as smearing. Dissipation makes shock to be smeared. Smearing of the shock. Okay, so it spreads to the neighboring points. Okay, that's what happens. And so this will be with first order schemes. And error will be having second order derivative. But coming to dispersion error, it comes with second order schemes. And error term contains third order derivative. Then it introduces oscillations at sharp gradients. Okay, so sometimes the oscillations may be larger than actual signal, and it may make it unstable. Okay, so many times what happen is sometimes we introduce artificial damping or dissipation term. When the oscillations are large in second order schemes. So I want to have the second order schemes for higher accuracy, but there are oscillations. To reduce the oscillations, I introduce an artificial damping, okay, intentionally. That we will discuss later, a little bit later. Okay, then we talked about splitting methods. So splitting methods are used for multidimensional flows. And there are what are called as multi-step methods. These are used for nonlinear flows. Okay, this is the main difference we have to notice. And the splitting methods, the examples are ADA and fractional step method. And examples for multi-step methods like Lath-Van-Raaf two-step scheme and McCormack, etc. The others will be there. And okay, so we have seen multi-step methods, the Richtmyer scheme, Lax-Van-Raaf scheme, McCormack scheme, and we have seen what is the difference between splitting versus multi-step schemes. And we have seen an example for a linear problem with various schemes. Okay, so this is we have done in the last class, and today we will do nonlinear hyperbolic solvers. Okay, so as we have seen, the model equation is ut plus ux is equal to 0. Okay, so this is the nonlinearity. So previously we have seen ut plus aux equal to 0. So this is linear because a is a constant. Okay, and here u is dependent variable. So u dou u by dou x is a nonlinear term. Okay, so here what I do is a little bit modification I do ut plus I will write it as uh, u square by 2 x is equal to 0 like that. That is dou of u square by 2 by dou x. So what will you get here? 2u dou u by dou x, right, by 2 like this. So it will become u dou u by dou x. So this is the way I can write it. And this I will write it as ut plus ex equal to 0, and where e is equal to u square. So I will write this as ut is equal to minus ex. So this one we have written as ut is equal to minus aux. Okay, this is the way we have written. And now we write this way. This is the equation we are going to solve where e is equal to u square by 2. Okay. And so we again take similar schemes what we have discussed previously. So those schemes we will come across. Okay, nonlinear hyperbolic solver. So dou u by dou t equal to minus dou u by dou x. This we will write like this. Dou u by dou t is dou u by dou x equal to u square by 2. And for this, we discuss various schemes, and we will see immediately the result, how the result will be with a example. So we take a particular example, and this is the problem. We have a wave which is traveling. Okay, so this wave is a step wave like this, and it has a value of 1 from 0 to 2, and 2 to 4, the value is 0. U of x0 is equal to 1, 0 to xg varying from 0 to 2, u of x0 is equal to 0, where x varying from 2 to 4. Okay, this is a step. And this is somewhat like a shock wave only, right? So this is just like shock. Okay, there is a discontinuity here. Okay, so though this equation is much as such a simple small equation, people have worked with it for centuries. Okay, for decades and centuries they have worked in it, and there are so many schemes, and hundreds of schemes are available. People have tried here, there, and all. And so what we want is, I want to handle this shock, discontinuity, and this has to travel, right? So when it is traveling, I want the solution to be as good as possible, right? So as we have seen, if I am taking first order scheme, it is uh, dissipation errors are there. Higher order schemes, there are dispersion errors, and somehow I want to have better accuracy, but then I have to use the damping, and people have tried various ways to reduce the error. Okay, so first we will see the lax method. Okay, so lax method, already we have seen that. So suppose I take what is lax method, ut is equal to minus gx at I n. Okay, so what we'll do, lax method ui n plus 1 minus u. Actually, this is modified. What is this? Lax method is modified.
Explicit method.
No, which method? Explicit only. Modified FTCS. Okay, so ui n plus 1 minus un by delta t is equal to minus FTCS. I will write ei plus 1 minus ei minus 1 n by 2 delta x. And what is the modification? This is FTCS. Because FTCS is found to be unstable, what Lax has done is, this he has written as average of its neighboring points. Okay, so ui n plus 1 minus ui plus 1 n plus ui minus 1 n by 2 like this. And here I can substitute, this is u square by 2 I plus 1 n minus u square by 2 I minus 1 n by 2. Okay, like this I can write. Okay, now here it's not a big problem because though this is non-linear u square by 2, right? But I am taking at the nth time. So it is a known value and it will not be a problem. I should not have, because it is unknown is ui n plus 1. Okay, so it should not have square. This is non-linear. But u square by 2 I plus 1 n, this is linear only because ui plus 1 n is known. Unknown square should not be there. Known to the power of anything, no problem. It's not nonlinear. Is this clear?
Yes, sir.
So that is the way it is done. Okay, here it is on the same thing. And so this is done. This problem is done. And it is conditionally stable. The condition for stability, instead of a delta t by delta x, it is ux delta t by delta x. Okay, it's not delta x by delta t by delta x. I have copied the same thing everywhere, I think. Right, a delta t by delta x, right? So here, instead of a, you have u max. Okay, this should be less than or equal to 1 for condition for stability. And order of accuracy, because it is FTCS, first order in time and second order in space. Okay, and so it has, because this is a second order scheme, right? This is second order scheme, delta t delta x whole square. So the error is dissipative error. You can see that initial wave is vertical, but now it is getting dissipation. Okay, so it is getting smearing. So that is the way it is happening. And for different values of, for delta t equal to 0.1 at different times, it is traveling, right? It is traveling, and you can see as it travels, the dissipation is increasing. So this is this, and this is done for different for the different values of delta t. So with the current number 0.5 and current number 1. Okay, so if it is 1, the smearing is less, and if it is 0.5, the smearing will be more. Okay, so that is what it is found. And then lax van Droff scheme.
Sir,
Yes.
so the condition of stability,
Yeah.
is it like whatever is written, is that correct? Like u max delta x by delta t?
No, it is a delta t by delta x.
A delta t by delta x. Okay.
So instead of a, you have u max here.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Okay, so it is by mistake this is done. Okay, and before going to that, I think I have to do some math. Because stability, I have to do one or two cases, right? So what I have told, suppose like FTFS and FTCS, they are unconditionally unstable, right? And we have discussed FTBS or upwinding, and lax van Droff. These are conditionally stable. And similarly, if I take BT, BS, BT, CS, Frank Nicholson, right? These are implicit and unconditionally stable. Okay, so these are the things I told you, but we will try to prove some of the things. Okay, and some examples. Okay, one or two I will do. Remaining things we have to try. So it will. They are important as far as exams are concerned. Okay, I will take one of the case like uh, FTCS unstable. I have to prove. Okay, so I will take this UT. I am taking linear cases. Okay, not non-linear cases. UT is equal to minus AUX I n. So FTCS means UI n plus 1 minus UIN by delta t is equal to minus A UI plus 1n minus UI minus 1n by 2 delta x. So UIN plus 1 minus UIN is equal to minus C into UI plus 1n minus UI minus 1 by 2. Okay. Is it okay? And now I have to write this for stability. What I will do, I have to write in terms of epsilon. Okay. So here I have to write epsilon in plus 1 minus epsilon in is equal to minus C by 2 epsilon I plus 1n minus epsilon I minus 1. Okay. So if I substitute this epsilons and divide by e power a delta, sorry, e power at, e power I k mx. Okay. So we have told epsilon in is equal to e power at, e power I k mx. Okay. Instead of that, I will write e power at, e power I theta. And so epsilon I n plus 1, if you remember, we will get it as a into t plus delta t into e power I theta. Similarly, if I get epsilon I plus 1 n, it will be e power at, e power I km plus delta x. Okay, like okay. This IKM delta x, I have taken it as theta. It is not IKM x only. Okay. So here when I substitute and divide, what happens is I will get, if you remember, e power a delta t minus 1 is equal to minus c by 2 e power I theta minus e power minus I theta, where theta is equal to am delta x. Okay, like this I will get. So this I have to do because I want e power a delta t. This is equal to 1 minus c by 2 e power I theta minus e power I minus I theta. What will I get?
2 cos theta.
2i sine
2i sin theta. Okay, 2i sin theta. Okay, this 2 gets cancelled. So 1 minus ic sin theta. This is g, and this is complex. Whenever I have amplification factor complex, what should I do for stability? What should I prove?
we need to square
G square or G bar. G bar should be less than or equal to 1. So if G is 1 minus I sin theta, what is G bar?
1
1
plus
plus
1
I
plus I
sin
sin theta. So
plus
G bar will be
1 square plus c square sin square theta.
C square sin square theta. Okay. So C is positive, sin square theta is positive, and you can see that this is always greater than or equal to 1. But the condition for stability is G bar should be less than or equal to 1. But this is always greater than or equal to 1. So this is unconditionally unstable. Is it clear? So this is the way we have to prove. And we will take condition for stability, like conditionally stable scheme, like upwind, FTDS, first order upwind scheme, forward time backward space. So UT is equal to minus JUX IN. So UIN plus 1 minus UIN by delta T is equal to minus UI minus UI minus 1 by delta. Okay, so UIN plus 1 minus UIN is equal to minus C into UIN minus UI minus 1. Then substitute epsilon and I should divide by UIN throughout. So I will get e power a delta t minus 1 is equal to minus C into, what will I get here? I am dividing by UIN, right? What will I get here?
One minus e.
1 minus e power minus theta I will get. Minus I theta. Okay. Is it clear? Minus I km delta x I will get, right? Minus I km delta x. So which is e power minus I theta km delta x is equal to theta. Okay, this is the way I get. So what will I get here? E power a delta t is equal to 1 minus C into 1 minus cos theta. Okay, this is cos theta minus I sin theta. So
Plus
it will
sin
become
theta.
plus
Plus
I
I
sin
sin theta.
I will get like this. Okay, so this is equal to 1 minus C cos theta plus IC sin theta. I will little bit modification. I will do 1 minus C into this is plus, right? Plus into 1 minus cos theta plus IC sin theta. This I will write it as 1 minus
Sir,
cos.
minus I c sin theta in previous.
Okay, if I take it as this is okay, right?
Above step, sir.
This one
Yes, sir. Minus
so
I c sin theta.
minus IC sin theta. Okay,
Yes, sir.
thank you. Right, 1 minus IC. And 1 minus cos theta, how can I write? 2
sin square theta by 2.
2 sin square theta by 2. 2c sin square theta by 2 minus IC sin theta in terms of theta by 2, how can I write?
2 into sin
2
theta
2
by
sin
2.
theta by 2 cos theta by 2. 2 sin theta by 2 cos theta by 2, right? And this is real and this is imaginary. Okay, and this is G. So I have to write G bar. G bar is equal to 1 minus 2c sin square theta by 2 whole square plus c square, okay, 4c square sin square theta by 2 cos square theta by 2. Like that I will get that. Okay, if I expand this, 1 minus 4c square sin square sin to the power of 4 theta by 2 minus, this is plus, minus 4c sin square theta by 2 plus 4c square sin square theta by 2 cos square theta by 2. Like this I will get. And if I take this this term and this term, if I take 4c square sin square theta by 2 common, okay, what I am getting? here sin square theta by 2 will come, here cos square theta by 2 will come and become 0. So I will be left with 1 plus 4c square sin square theta by 2, right? I have taken this as common. So sin square theta by 2 plus cos square theta by 2 will become 1. And this term will be there, minus 4c sin square theta by 2. Okay, so g bar now is equal to, here in this, I will take 4c sin square theta by 2 common. Or minus 4c sin square theta by 2. If I take common, it will become 1 minus c. This is the way I will get that. Is that okay? It should be less than or equal to 1. And if I cancel this one and this one, it will become 4c sin square theta by 2 4c sin square theta by 2
greater than or equal to minus.
minus c 1 minus c is greater than or equal to 0. Okay, so here this is positive. So c minus 1 or 1 minus c should be greater than or equal to 0, right? So c minus 1 less than or equal to 0, or c less than or equal to 1. Is that okay? This is the CFL condition. This is the CFL condition. Condition for stability. Okay, this is the one I proved, and maybe I can take implicit one like BT, BTCS. So BTCS implicit, if I take ut is equal to minus AUX, and then so UIN plus 1 minus UIN by delta t is equal to minus UI plus 1 minus UI minus 1. Here n plus 1 will be there. Okay, here n plus 1 by delta. Or UIN plus 1 is equal to UIN or minus UIN is equal to minus c by 2 into UI plus 1 n plus 1 minus UI minus 1 n plus 1. Okay, like this I will get. Okay, now again you divide by UIN and write in terms of those things. You will get e power a delta t minus 1 is equal to minus c by 2 into e power I theta minus e power minus I theta. Is it okay? And one more thing will be there, into e power a delta t will be. Because here n plus 1 is there, so e power a delta t also will be there in both the terms. Okay, like this I will get. Any doubt you ask me, right? Due to n plus 1, I will get e power a delta t. Here I plus 1, I will get e power minus I theta, minus I minus 1, e power minus I theta I will get. Okay, so this is equal to minus c by 2 e power a delta t into, this is, we have seen that this is by sin theta. And this 2 gets cancelled. And so e power, this I will take to the left hand because it is having e power a delta t. I bring it to the left side. So e power a delta t into 1 plus IC sin theta is equal to 1. Okay, this one I am taking to the right hand side. So this is e power a delta t is equal to 1 by 1 plus IC sin theta. Is that okay? And so I will multiply numerator as 1 minus IC sin theta and denominator by 1 minus IC sin theta. So I am going to get 1 minus IC sin theta by 1 plus C square sin square theta. This is G. So because this is complex, I have to multiply with G bar. So what is G bar? Again, 1 minus IC sin theta into 1 plus IC sin theta by 1 plus C square sin square theta whole square I will get. Because G will have 1 plus C square sin square theta and G bar also will have 1 plus C square sin square theta. It will be whole square. So this will be equal to 1 plus C square sin square theta by 1 plus C square sin square theta whole square. So 1 will go off. So this is equal to 1 by 1 plus C square sin square theta. So can you tell me whether it is greater than or equal to 1 or less than or equal to?
Less than equal to.
Less
Yeah,
than 1.
because this is always 1 plus something greater than 1. Denominator is greater than 1. So this will be less than or equal to 1 always. So this is unconditionally stable. Is it okay? So all these proofs will not be there in any book, right? You have to try the remaining schemes also. You try by yourself. Okay, method is this. Okay, so now coming back to Lax method, we got this, and Lax-Van-Derf method. So what Lax-Van-Derf method you have seen? We write this UIN plus 1 is equal to UIN plus UT delta T plus UTT delta T whole square by 2 like that. UT you substitute minus EX, and UTT we will write like this. I will do that. Okay, Lax-Van-Derf UIN plus 1 is equal to UIN plus delta T UT plus delta T whole square by factorial 2 UTT plus etc. order of delta T. And we have the equation UT is equal to minus EX. But if you want UTT, what will I get? Minus EX T. And this I will write it as minus ETX. So this ETX, ET means dou E by dou T. This I will write it as dou E by dou U into dou U by dou T. Okay, and dou U by dou T is EX. And this dou E by dou U, this is called as Jacobian. This is called as Jacobian. The derivative of the flux matrix with independent variable, this is called as Jacobian. You write it as some A. Okay, this you will use it many times later, right? So the Jacobian term, this is a derivative of the flux matrix with the dependent variable matrix like that, or flux variable by dependent variable because it is only one dimension. This is called as Jacobian. And here in this particular case, because E is equal to U square by 2, right? A is equal to dou U, dou E by dou U means dou of U square by 2 by dou U. So differentiation with respect to U square by 2 is 2U only. 2U by 2, that is U. Here it is simple. A is nothing but Jacobian is nothing but U only. Okay, but in general I use A. Okay, so A is a Jacobian. So this I will write as minus ET. This is A UT, right? Minus A UT. And UT is minus EX. So minus A into minus EX. So this is AEX. Okay, this I have to substitute in this particular term. Okay, so uin plus 1 is equal to uin plus ut is minus ex into delta t plus utt is aex of x. Ut is equal minus utx, ut is aut, this half x will be there, and this half x will be there. So it will become aex delta t whole square factorial to plus 1. Like this you will get. Okay, here this is dou by dou x of aex. I have given exx like that, but it is given like this, dou by dou x of ae. Okay, this is the term I have written. Okay, so he has taken uin this side and divided by delta t, and this dou e by dou x into delta t is there, right? This dou e by dou x is written as in central difference. In Lax-Wendroff, what we do when you get ux and uxx, we write it in central difference form. So this is ei plus 1 minus ei minus 1 by 2 delta x. Still explicit only, I am putting n only. So here a dou e by dou x, this is to be discretized with respect x derivative, right? So a dou e by dou x I plus half, a dou e by dou x I minus half I am taking, because at I point, so I plus half, I minus half, and on. And why I am doing like this, this half will go off later, okay? And this particular term is taken here, a dou e by dou x I plus half n minus a dou e by dou x I minus half n, and this is by delta x. Okay, so this derivative dou e by dou x at I plus half. Okay, so what I have to do, ei plus 1 minus ei. This dou e by dou x at I plus half, right? It will be central difference. This side I plus 1 will be there, this side I will be there. So ei plus 1 minus ein by delta x. Similarly, dou e by dou x at I minus half will be ei minus 1 by delta x. And here a I plus half is there. So I want a at I plus half. So I will take the average, because I don't have at I plus half term point. So I take the average of ai and ai plus 1. So this will be ai plus 1 plus ain by 2. Okay. So ai plus 1 plus ai by n by delta x, ain by 2. And into this, I am going to get 1 by 2 delta x into these two. And similarly here, 1 by 2 delta x and this, and by delta x. And this particular term is to be substituted here in this term. So uin plus 1 minus uin by delta t, this is as it is. And ei plus 1 plus minus ei minus 1 by 2 delta x is this term. And for this term, I am substituting this. Okay, this is the way I will get. This is Lax-Wendroff scheme. And here again, at E, you have to use u square by 2. Okay, because these are at the n term only. These are explicit, so no problem. All the right hand sides are at time n only. So even if it is square terms, no problem. Okay, so that is the way I get Lax-Wendroff scheme.
Sir,
Yes.
Sir, could you please explain the fourth step again?
This one? This one?
So, yes, sir, yes.
Yeah, okay. Here, this term I am taking. Okay, this term is a dou e by dou x I plus half n, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so this and this as it is, I am writing here this term here. Now I am expanding this term. So here a I plus half n, I am writing as it is. Later I will write it as average of these two. Okay, that is the next step. Here dou e by dou x at I plus half n. So what should I write? Dou e by dou x at I plus half. Central difference. What are the neighboring terms for I plus half?
I plus 1 and I.
I plus 1 and I. So I
Yes,
am writing ei plus 1 minus ei. For I minus half, the neighboring are ei and ei minus 1.
yes,
So
sir.
I am writing ei minus e minus 1 delta x. And for this particular a, I am taking as the average of the neighboring point. It is not derivative. I want some value at a point. I am taking the average of the neighboring values. That's what here. Is that clear?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So that is the way we'll do. And again, condition for stability is same as that. And again, it is wrong, delta t by delta x. Okay. And second order accuracy in both time and space. So here you are getting the solution here. Again, if delta t equal to 0.1, I am getting like this. And at different delta t values, I get this. Okay. So Lax-Van-Draft, it looks somewhat better compared to the previous one, right? So there is not much dispersion you can see here. Here there is a small dispersion, but as it is moving at c equal to 1, as I told, the variations will be less. It will be more accurate. So when c equal to 0.5, so there will be more peak there. And similarly, McCormack method, which we have discussed in the previous parabolic scheme. In McCormack scheme, what we do, we have predictor corrector method. In one of the predictor and corrector, we use backward difference, another is forward difference.
Sir?
So, yes.
Sir, can you again explain that graph? Sir, I cannot understand that graph.
Okay. Here, the first thing I have done for delta t is equal to 0.1. So at different times, after few time steps, right, how it is moving, the wave is moving, that is shown here. Okay, so after some, because delta t is equal to 0 seconds, this is initial one. And after 0.6 seconds means how many 6 steps are over. 0.1 is the time step. After 0.6 seconds, it is going to this position. After 1.2 seconds, it is going to this position. Like that, it is moving. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
And here I have taken for two cases, delta c equal to 0.5 and c equal to 1. Okay. So here for c equal to 1, the dispersion will be less, and c equal to 0.5, the dispersion will be more. Is it okay?
Okay, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
And McCormack method, we have taken forward difference here, backward difference here. Okay, so in the forward difference, we will get ei plus 1 minus ein by delta x. In the backward difference, we will get ein minus ei minus 1 backward difference. And the left side, actually, the intermediate value, we take it as ui star. Okay, and in the next point, actually, ui n plus half, it is written as average of uin and ui star. If you remember McCormack method. So in the first one, we will get ui star. In the next one, you will get uin plus 1. Actually, here uin plus 1, uin plus half by, it will be there like this, where uin plus half is average of ui star and uin. Okay, so that's what we will write. This is uin plus ui star by 2. Okay, so that uin plus half came this side. Okay, this is the way we do it. And as I told, this works well, McCormack method. And this is condition for stability, again is same, and order of accuracy, second order in time and second order in space. Okay, and you can see it is working so well. Actually, McCormack method behaves very well. Okay, like this. And there is one more method we discussed, what is called as beam and warming implicit method. Okay? Beam and warming. So here what we do is, we take uin plus 1, uin n plus 1 is equal to uin plus delta t ut. And this ut, how it is written is ut at n plus 1 plus ut, and ut is equal to minus. So that I will substitute here. Okay, like this. And this is implicit. So this minus exn plus 1, that we will see how it is written here. Okay, so minus exn, this minus is taken out. So minus exn and minus exn plus 1, like this. And so this en plus 1 is, okay, before this, so en plus 1 is equal to en plus delta t ut plus delta t whole square by 2 ATT. Sorry, this is ET. I will write again. En plus delta t ut plus delta t whole square by 2. And this ET, again we write it as ET is equal to EU into UT, where EU is Jacobian, AUT is equal to minus A EX. Okay, so this is the way we write. EIN plus 1 is dou U by dou U. This is A, and this is dou U by dou T delta T. Okay, this EX we can write it later. So this dou U by dou T is written as UAN plus 1 minus UAN by delta T. So this delta T, if it goes off, it is UIN plus 1 minus UIN. This is dou U by dou X. If I take the derivative of with respect to X, dou U by dou X n plus 1 is equal to dou U by dou X n plus dou U by dou U is A, right? So A, dou by dou X of A into UN plus 1 minus UN. Okay, this is the way it is written. Okay, so this particular one is substituted here, dou U by dou X UN plus. So this is UIN plus 1 minus UIN by delta T. This is this minus half into, this is as it is, dou U by dou X IN, and this dou U by dou X IN plus 1, this is substituted. Okay, so I have another dou U by dou Xn here and dou by dou X of this. And so it will be 2 times dou U by dou Xn plus dou by dou X of UIN plus 1 minus UIN. And here, like the previous one, we write this derivative of this as, this is A ui n plus 1 x derivative at I, central difference if I take, ui plus 1 and ui minus 1 you will get. So ai plus 1 ui plus 1 minus ai minus 1 ui minus 1. And here, this is one particular thing I wanted to tell you. So here n plus 1 is there, right? So actually I have to take n plus 1 here also. But I am using lagging, because if this is n plus 1, this is n plus 1, I will have non-linear term. So to make it linear, I am taking A to be known value n. If I write both n plus 1, this will become non-linear. So lagging of Jacobian is employed here. Okay, so this particular term is written this way using lagging. And this is substituted back here, and I am getting this particular equation. Okay, this is called as beam and warming method. And this is again unconditionally stable and order of accuracy, second order in time and second order in space. Okay, these are the, and there are many more schemes are explained there, like Runge-Kutta method and the total variation elimination schemes, TVD schemes. So in the textbook, we have other methods like Ruggekutta and TVD schemes. So TVD means total variation diminishing schemes. Okay. So these are the schemes which are becoming popular nowadays. It is still under research, so we are not covering that much. Okay. So one more thing here in Beeman warming, this is the way I am getting the solution. If delta t is 0.1 and delta x is 0.1, that is c equal to 1 if I take. So actually c equal to 1 is working beautifully for the other schemes. But here I am getting large oscillations. It is because of the dispersion error. Okay, these large oscillations are because of the dispersion error. So as I told previously, when the dispersion is very large, I will try to add artificial damping into that. Okay, so how we add it? So we do like this. This is explicit fourth order damping. On the right hand side, add explicit damping. Explicit, okay, I will say fourth order damping. So what I do is I add something like explicit damping. I will write it like epsilon I like this into delta x power 4. Okay, this is the term I am going to add. Okay, one thing, by adding this, actually people think that because I am adding this, I am increasing the error. But actually the quantitatively, it is very small and negligible. Because it is a second order accurate scheme, and I am adding some fourth order term, delta x power 4, it is very, very, very small. But even order derivatives introduce damping. Okay, so by adding this, I am not introducing or increasing error actually, but this damps the oscillations, right? So this particular term is added. So dou power 4 u by dou x power 4, fourth order derivative, you will get the discretization like this. This by delta x power 4. So that delta x power 4 and this delta x power 4 goes off. And this is the one I am adding on the right hand side of the equation. And now you can see this is the solution that I am going to get. Beeman warming scheme with the artificial damping. Is it clear? This is called as explicit fourth order damping term. Okay, and so we have furthermore like upwind scheme. Okay, explicit first order upwind scheme. These are these straightforward schemes which we have done now, FTBS, BTBS, BTCS like that. So this is explicit one, and you have, and you can see it is behaving well. And implicit also, because it is behaving well, it doesn't mean that we can be happy with that, because it is a simple equation, we are getting it. But for nonlinear equations, predictor corrector steps only work well. Okay, for this small equation, this is working, but in general, for nonlinear equations, we have to go for multi-step method. But these are single step methods only. So explicit first order upwind scheme, it is working well. So it is forward time, backward space. And implicit also, right? So this is like this. And here n plus 1 will be there. And instead of ei, we are writing ui n plus 1. Here also, I have to write u square by 2, u square by 2, I n, u square by 2, I minus 1n. So like that, here also it will be. And so we just spend 5 minutes on what is called as linear damping. Whatever I have introduced now, the fourth order term I have added, right? This is called as linear damping. This is called as linear damping. It is a linear term I am adding, right? So we have explicit damping, which is dE, which is equal to epsilon E dou power 4u by dou x power 4 delta x power 4. Okay, this is explicit damping. And there is, if it is explicit scheme, right? So suppose if I have implicit scheme, normally we are tempted to take large delta t. Because it is unconditionally stable, we take large delta t, which introduces large oscillations. And the explicit damping may not be sufficient then. May not be sufficient to damp. So then what you do is we add implicit damping. Okay, this explicit damping is added on the right hand side. Implicit damping on the left hand side with second order derivative. So what we do is implicit damping di is equal to epsilon I dou square u by dou x square into delta x whole square. Okay, this is the one we are going to add. Okay, this is a bit larger term because it is second order, but still it is not increasing the error. It is already second order accurate scheme. So I am just adding a second order term there. Okay, it will not matter much. And another thing, I am adding on the left hand side for an implicit scheme. So an implicit scheme, and normally what will I have? So I will have something into ui minus 1 n plus 1 plus something into ui n plus 1 plus something into ui plus 1 n plus 1 on the left hand side, and we will have something on the right hand side at n. To this I am adding epsilon e dou square u by dou x square delta x whole square. Okay, so what is this? This is nothing but epsilon e into u I minus 1 n plus 1 plus, okay, minus 2 ui n plus 1 plus ui plus 1 n plus 1 by delta x whole square into delta x whole square. This goes up. Okay, so this gets modified. Here you will get some plus epsilon e, here minus 2 epsilon e I epsilon I, and here plus epsilon I. Like this, the coefficients gets a little bit modified when you are taking the tridiagonal matrix. They will get modified. Okay, so implementation is not difficult. It is easy only. Okay, people think that damping, this damping, and all. So mathematically, it is very, very simple, right? So if you have explicit damping, we just add something on the right hand side term. If it is explicit damping, the coefficients, the diagonal terms will be just modified by adding this epsilon I, and 2 minus 2 epsilon I like that to the terms. Is it okay? So that is the way we do the damping, linear damping. This you can read the explanation. Okay, so this is the explicit damping. Okay, and if I have 2D, I will have in x direction this one and y direction this one. I am adding total explicit damping this one. Implicit damping is just ui plus I minus 1 plus 2 like this. And so sometimes what is the value? How much should be epsilon I? How much should be epsilon e? These are like a relaxation factor. You have to do experimental numerical experiments and find out which is the best value. And it is found that for the upper limit of the value explicit coefficient epsilon E is 1 by 8. And if I have both implicit damping and explicit damping, epsilon I is equal to 2 epsilon E. This is somewhat found to be optimum, like this, the relation between epsilon and epsilon E, like that. Otherwise, you have to do numerical experiments and find out which value is better. And okay, with this I will close. This flux corrected transport, FCT. If I have Lax-Van scheme is this. You remember, right? So UIN plus 1 minus UIN minus this. So this you will get Lax-Van scheme. Just you can check it back. And here, if I add damping term, so this is epsilon 1 into this one. Okay, this is second order scheme. Okay, so if I add this here, I'm going to get the predictor step in this way and corrector step this way. Here, what I do is I am adding this damping here, and in the corrector, I am removing the damping. I am subtracting here. Is it clear? To this term, I am adding this damping term and modified this equation. And in the corrector term, I am subtracting this. Here, UI star is the predicted value, and I am subtracting this damping term from the UI star. Okay, so I will get the corrector step. This is called as flux corrected transport. Adding the damping in the predictor and subtracting the damping term, whatever you feel, because this is a second order error term. So you feel that there may be increasing in the error. So I subtract it. Okay, this is the way you can make the corrector. So this flux corrected transport, you can see that the result will be very good. If it is a sinusoidal wave, the wave you can see it is going very well. Only thing is a little bit damping is there here. Okay, a little bit reduction in the thing. So a small dissipation error here. But as I told, dissipation error, we need not worry much, but scheme works. Okay, so that is the advantage with flux corrected transport. Okay, so I think this is where I will end it. Next class, we will see the next chapter, which is called a scalar representation of the Navier-Stokes equations, which is Viscous-Burgess solver. Okay, that we will do in the next class. And we will quickly go to the story. Okay, we will see a nice touching story. In a telephonic interview, the radio announcer asked his guest, a millionaire. Okay, anchor is there, and there is a millionaire, and he is interviewing that person. And he asked the millionaire, "What made you happiest in life?" The millionaire replied, "I have gone through 4 stages of happiness in my life. Finally, I understood the meaning of true happiness. The first stage was to accumulate wealth and means." That's what all people feel, that there is a happiness there. And he started accumulating, and I earned a lot. Okay, but at this stage, I did not get the happiness I wanted. So what should I do then? Okay, then came the second stage of collecting valuables and items. Okay, by acquiring various things, right, precious things, and he started collecting valuables and items. But I realized that the effect of this thing is also temporary, and the luster of valuable things does not last long. So when I get something, a computer or a car or a building or something like that, I will be happy, but it stays for only a small amount of time. Then you will lose it. Then came the third stage of getting big projects like buying a football team, buying a tourist resort, etc. But even here, I did not get the happiness I had imagined. Okay, so by acquiring things, external things, he never felt happy. And the fourth time, a friend of mine asked me to buy wheelchairs for disabled children. At the friend's request, I immediately bought some wheelchairs, but my friend insisted that I go with him and hand over the wheelchairs to the children myself. So I went with him and gave the wheelchairs to those children with my own hands. I saw the great glow of happiness on the faces of those children. I saw them all sitting on the chairs, moving around and having fun. It was as if they had arrived at a picnic. but I felt real joy when I started to leave and one of the kids grabbed my leg. I gently tried to free my leg, but the child stared at my face and held my leg tightly. I bent down and asked the child, "Do you need anything else?" The answer the child gave me not only made me happy, but also changed my life forever. And the child said, "I want to remember your face so that when I meet you in heaven, I will be able to recognize you and thank you once again." And he's really touched and he felt so happy and it changed his life completely. Okay, he found what is the real kick, like in the movie Kick. So he understood the real kick lies in making others happy. Okay, so that's it. Thank you very much. See you again in the next class.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.